Hello, and welcome to our podcast on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. In this episode, we'll be discussing the 10 most important lessons from the book and sharing stories and analogies to help you understand and apply these concepts to your life. Lesson 1. Be proactive. Being proactive means taking responsibility for your life and your choices. One analogy to understand this is that of a driver on a road trip. The driver has control over the car and the direction they take, just as we have control over our lives and the choices we make. When we adopt a proactive mindset, we become like the driver, taking responsibility for our lives and steering it in the direction we want to go. Lesson 2. Begin with the end in mind. To begin with, the end in mind means to start with a clear vision of what you want to achieve and work backwards to create a plan of action. A great example of this is the story of the construction of the Sydney Opera House. The architect, Jorn Utzon, had a clear vision of what he wanted the building to look like, and he worked backwards to create a plan of action to make that vision a reality. Lesson 3. Put first things first. Putting first things first means prioritizing your time and energy based on what is most important to you. One analogy to understand this is that of a jar filled with rocks, pebbles, and sand. The rocks represent the most important things in your life, while the pebbles and sand represent less important things. If you fill the jar with the sand and pebbles first, there won't be enough room for the rocks. But if you prioritize the rocks first, everything else will fit around them. Lesson 4. Think win-win. Thinking win-win means seeking to find solutions that benefit all parties involved. A great example of this is the story of 2 boys who both want the same orange. Instead of fighting over it, they find a win-win solution by one taking the peel to make a cake and the other taking the fruit to make juice. Lesson 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seeking first to understand means listening actively and empathetically to others and seeking to understand their perspectives before expressing your own. An analogy to understand this is that of a doctor who listens carefully to their patient's symptoms before making a diagnosis. By seeking first to understand, we can build stronger relationships and create win-win solutions. Lesson 6. Synergize. Synergizing means working collaboratively with others to create innovative solutions that are greater than the sum of their parts. One analogy to understand this is that of a team rowing a boat. When everyone rows in sync and works together, they can achieve more than any individual could alone. Lesson 7. Sharpen the saw. Sharpening the saw means taking care of your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being in order to maintain the energy and motivation needed to achieve your goals. An analogy to understand this is that of a woodcutter who takes a break to sharpen their saw. By taking the time to rest and recharge, we can become more productive and effective in the long run. Lesson 8. Live your values. Living your values means aligning your actions with your values and principles, and being true to yourself in all areas of your life. One example of this is the story of Mahatma Gandhi, who lived his life according to his values of non-violence and civil disobedience, even in the face of great adversity. Lesson 9. Use proactive language. Using proactive language means focusing on positive, solution-oriented language and avoiding reactive or negative language. An analogy to understand this is that of a garden. If you focus on planting positive seeds, such as love, gratitude, and kindness, you will reap positive fruits. But if you plant negative seeds, such as anger, resentment, and blame, you will reap negative fruits. Lesson 10. Continuously learn and grow. Continuously, learning and growing means seeking out new experiences, opportunities, and knowledge in order to continually improve and develop as a person. An analogy to understand this is that of a tree. A tree that doesn't grow is dead, and the same is true for us. By continuously learning and growing, we can become the best version of ourselves. Conclusion. So those were the 10 most important lessons from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. We hope that these stories and analogies have helped you understand and apply these concepts to your life. Remember, by adopting these habits, you can become more proactive, achieve your goals, build stronger relationships, and become the best version of yourself. Thanks for listening. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and comment on what part of this podcast you like.